Ladies and gentlemen, this is the very first episode of Game Breakers, and in today's episode, I'm going to do something different from what I was originally planning on doing for this series. My original plan for this series was to do a thing where I go through video games and show you how to break them to the point where you become overpowered completely. In today's episode, I want to take that and throw it out the window for the first episode. Now, I'm still going to do that for this series, for this YouTube channel. But today's episode is special. I wanted it to be the first episode, and I wanted it to be special. So we're going to look at something that probably most people don't even know. And I'm going to say about 99% of people don't know. If you've ever played The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, you'll know that the main mechanic in that game is using an ocarina to play songs that you learn throughout the game. And so I wanted to kind of try and replicate that mechanic, see if I could do it. I'm a game developer, and my ideas come from replicating certain mechanics and seeing if I could build off of those. That's what really all creative ideas come from. So it's not like anything, it's not cheating in a way. But what I ended up doing is I ended up downloading a digital audio workstation. And if you don't know, this is for people who make beats or who, mix music together. But I'm not doing it for mixing or any purposes like that. I'm only using a trial version simply because I want to test this out. I wanted to test this theory out, or this mechanic out. And I downloaded an Ocarina VST, which is a plugin for it. It's a instrumental plugin that replicates an ocarina. And then I downloaded a MIDI file from Zelda Wiki if you ever want to go there and find some MIDI files, which are basically files of music, different layers and stuff like that, and you can use them in DAWs or digital audio workstations to learn or to actually put together yourself. So what I did is I downloaded Epona Song, and the reason I chose Epona Song is because I wanted to test something that I had in my head. And if you don't know, most games use what's called event triggers. Basically, it's triggered events that happen. And so, like, usually choice in a video game is an illusion. It makes you feel like there's choice there. It makes you feel like you're doing something when you're really not. And someone who's really good at this is BioWare, by the way. BioWare, really, really good at making you feel like you're making choices when you're really not. And I thought that's what Ocarina of Time was. So I figured, like, you putting the notes in was an illusion of choice, because you have to put them in the right way in order to learn the song and in order to play the song for certain areas. So it kind of is in a way, but I figured it was giving you like a good feeling, like, hey, I can play this song in real life. Well, so I downloaded like I said, I downloaded the opponent song off of the wiki, and I chose that song because Zelda's Lullaby is really similar. It's just the first two notes on in Ocarina of Time are switched. So it's like in Ocarina of Time, Zelda's Lullaby is C left, C up, C right. The opponent's song is C up, C left, C right. So that's what I wanted to work with because it was easy, great for testing. So what I did was literally just test it, and I'm going to show you the results of that. So as you can see, I have um, as you can see, I have my doll up here, and I want to go into this because I wanted to show you guys this. This is really insane. I have the ocarina brought up there. You can see in the MIDI channel, and I got the virtual MIDI keyboard brought up. You might not be able to see the virtual MIDI keyboard, but that's fine. All I did was I left it the way it was. I switched to an octave higher from the original octave, which is C5 is what it was at for the middle, and for the Q key it was at C5. I switched to an octave higher because that's what the opponent's song was played in. So now I took from this and learned the opponent's song, and I'm gonna play it for you real quick. So that's opponent's song with the first three notes just repeated. Um, and since I knew that was the opponent's song, I was like, okay, I want to switch the first two notes. So this is what happened. And I thought that was literally incredible because literally they are teaching you how to play the ocarina in Ocarina of Time. So, I mean, obviously it's not exactly the same. Um, because you first have to know the notes that you're playing in order to learn it. But you can learn these songs easily just by playing the video game. And to me, that's incredible. For something that was done in 1997, think about that. Nothing at the time could do that. Nothing at the time did that. Not only did that game do that, that game also gave us day-night cycle, a sort of open world game in a way, because it was linear to a point, like when you got to certain dungeons and stuff, but you basically could do any of the last few dungeons in any order you wanted to. The only difference is you couldn't do the water dungeon, and you could not do the spirit dungeon. Every other dungeon you could do in any order you wanted to in the game. And technically, if you got the grappling hook, you could do the water dungeon first, or the hook shot. But that's it. If you got the hook shot, you could do the water dungeon also. So every dungeon except for the spirit temple. Yeah, that is incredible. Aonuma and Miyamoto are brilliant people, and I can't wait for what they come out with next. I know Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. I have to give credit to the Zelda team also, who worked on it and who worked on everything else, because this 1997, you was learning to play an ocarina on a video game that you actually were learning how to play an ocarina. Well, that's the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time broken. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, click subscribe, like button, click that notification bell. I will probably do more breakdown videos like this on video games and certain mechanics and stuff in video games, but I really want to continue the Game Breaker series. Even though this is technically not a Game Breaker episode, this is the first episode on the channel, so I really wanted to get that out there and let people know how incredible it really was. So with that being said, I hope you all have a great day.